What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday night to all of you. Very excited about tonight's live stream. Honestly, I just need to have a drink. It's been that kind of a week this week. I don't know about you guys, but I still think of things in terms of like when you're a kid and you say like, oh, it's a school night. Thursdays for me are like, well, it's the last school night of the week. It's not Friday. I'm not going to stay up till 3 a.m, but it's the last school night. That's the way I still think of it. And obviously now it's work night, not school night. But Thursday nights for me, it's like, my God, let's just decompress and get to Friday, get through Friday, and then get on with the weekend. And usually for me, about every other week, the weekend means playing concerts. So that's a nice little kind of release at the end of the week. Usually I'm rehearsing throughout the week, doing a bunch of, projects for people and that kind of stuff. And so you get to the weekend and it's like, oh my gosh, you just need it. So as we get more people in here, guys, if you wouldn't mind, we're gonna have a fun evening. I'm excited to hang with all of you guys that are in the chat this evening. But if you wouldn't mind right now, please hit that like button. It really, really helps on these live streams to get some more people in here, get the stream to be popping up in people's YouTube Explore pages. So please hit that like button at the very least. Even if you're not subscribed, the like button is really going to help us out this evening. Oh, dude. Abandoned Bourbon says he liked this so hard. All right, guys. I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat in just a second. But real quick, I'm just going to say cheers to all of you. I'm going to have, it's not my first sip of the night. I had a little quick pregame live stream on Instagram about an hour and a half ago. But my first sip of the evening, which appeared on that Instagram live stream, is this Dancing Goat 8-year high rye bourbon source from MGP, which, we got Abandoned Bourbon in the house along with Drew P. This is the entry proof podcast barrel pick of this 8-year Dancing Goat. So cheers, guys. Yeah. Cool. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Aiden says yeet. Nice, man. Good to see you, Aiden. Chris is in the house as well, Unipoke. Roy R., good evening. Got Abandoned Bourbon. Paul M., Top Dog, Peter White, Eric Sawyer, Jeff Perkins. What's up, Jeff? Saw you earlier in the Instagram live chat as well. David, Let's Go Cam. Hey, hey everyone. Good to see you, man. Got Jared. Josh Spies the King. We're going to talk about that. What's up, Stuart, man? Good to see you. Stuart, I still have, guys, for everybody in the chat right now, I had a raised wheat Weller 12 from like sometime in like the early 2010s, probably maybe a little bit earlier than that, but I couldn't date the bottle. The code was rubbed off. And a 1983 Old Granddad bottled in bond. Amazing. And both of those came from Stuart. Stuart Langstrom here in the chat, who is in a percussion quartet that I play in out in California. So he's a good friend of mine, and he hooked me up with two of the most amazing bottles I have in my collection. And I have about a 200 milliliter flask of each of them left that I'm saving for the next time I see Stuart, which is going to be us flying out to Austria to play in May. And hopefully we can share some pours of that stuff in Austria. And, as much as I don't want to kill those bottles off, I feel like if we do it at any point, that would be the time to do it. So make some great memories with that. All right, guys. So what are we doing tonight? The first idea I had for this stream, which I kind of put on the shelf, was that I was going to do a stream of kind of addressing the question, is older whiskey always better, right? And I think we kind of know that that's a nuanced answer, but it was going to be a kind of a deep dive exploration into that with a couple of different examples. For instance, Knob Creek 9, 12, and 15, some Sam Houston 12 and 15 comparisons, different comparisons like that. I still want to do that stream, but I just didn't quite have all the details narrowed down and all the comparisons. You can't drink 20 pours in a night. So I'm trying to get bang for my buck when I think about constructing that live stream. So that's going to happen later. All right. So tonight I figured I've got, like, you guys can't see it, but I have bottles all on the floor behind me. And all of those are like new bottles that I haven't organized into these shelves or taken to my basement to my other storage down there. And I was like, let's just crack open some new bottles. Some of them have already been open, and let's just taste through them. Let's talk about, maybe the new Larceny Barrel Proof C921, which got a late release. Let's talk about the newest batch of Sam Houston 15, which is 15 and a half years old, age stated. I have never really sat down with this E.H. Taylor Straight Rye. I've owned it for about a month now. It's my first one. I've had like 2 pours. So I wanted to kind of go through some of these newer bottles this evening, and I'm going to not really go in a particular order. And if there's something you guys want me to talk about and review and kind of, sip this evening, let me know in the chat. I've got a couple that I know I want to get to here, and you can probably tell which one that is. But we're gonna get there. All right. So that's the plan. That is the plan. Abandoned Bourbon says we'll trade whiskey Sam's for cuts on my album. That's funny. Let's do it. Trevor Kunkel says sipping the new Mash and Journey Obtainium pick. Mine's gonna get here, I think, tomorrow. I'm so excited for that. I'm definitely gonna review that one. If I would have had it tonight, it would be on this live stream. My mom wants me to do a White Claw review. I have like a 3-year-old black raspberry White Claw in my fridge. I could do it. Tom says, howdy, looking forward to your thoughts on the Dancing Goat pick. Yes, that is what I'm sipping now. Peter says, lots of Scotch options in Austria. I know, I'm hoping to have some suitcase space when I go over there. We don't travel light. As percussionists, we have so much gear and electronics and stuff, and we're pretty limited when we go international to how many suitcases we can bring and also afford to bring. So, it's tough. It's a tough one. Everybody's looking at everybody's looking at the King of Kentucky. I'm not going to say that out loud. My mom is on this stream, guys. But everybody's screaming cock. I don't know why. Okay, let's talk about that very quickly. This is not mine. The only way I would ever get one is to shell out the $1,600 to $1,800 on secondary, and I'm not going to do that, at least right now. This was sent in by Ashton Saltz, who is a supporter of the channel, viewer of the channel, someone that reached out to me, and he's got a ton of King of Kentucky. Like I've seen some pictures. He's probably got like 6 or 8 King of Kentuckys that I've seen in these photos. And he sent me an email and offered to send me his bottle to do a review of this thing. So tonight is going to be my first sip. It's going to be a very small sip. I want to respect the bottle, respect the fact that he sent me his open King of Kentucky. So I have a little sip tonight and talk about it. And then I'm going to film my review as soon as some new camera equipment comes in, which should be tomorrow. And hopefully I'm going to film this weekend and get that review out next week. So that is the plan. Oof. All right. So first sip of the evening, again, like I said, is this Dancing Goat 8-year high rye bourbon. Now, Brian, Abandoned Bourbon, you guys said that this was a 21% rye MGP mash bill. At least that's what Drew said, I think, in one of the Patreon posts. But Sealbox had this listed as a 36 rye mash bill. So I would love if you could clarify if you're still in the chat here, because I'm curious about this. On the nose, it smells like the 36% mash bill to me. It smells like a better OKI 6-year pick. But I'm curious to hear from you. It is 21. Wow. So this is sometimes the 21s get really cinnamon forward. And Drew P's in the house. What's up, man? Yeah, it smells a little bit like the 36, but I'm also getting some of the cinnamon of the 21. So it's very unique. And you guys are right on. The pick is titled Suggestions of Buttercream, which I think is hilarious because the minute I smelled it, I was like, all right, you suggested it, and that's all I can smell now. I'm smelling like butter pecan ice cream, like orange peel, a floral note. But as it's getting warmer and room temperature, because this literally just arrived a couple of hours ago, I'm getting some more dark fruits in here as well. Yeah, and some nice kind of ice cream shop notes in an MGP way, not like an aged Kentucky whiskey way where you can get that really thick vanilla. It doesn't quite have that. But I actually really like the grain profile in this too. Like you can smell the grain, like you can smell it in a Penelope barrel strength pick, or barrel strength blend, I should say, from Penelope. You can smell those grains, but it doesn't smell young, and that's what I like. Tom says, your dancing goat pick brings all the boys to the yard. I don't have that big of a yard, so we only have space for a few here. Oh, Top Dog says, can't wait to hear about the dancing goat pick. I was invited to do a barrel pick there this year. Look, let's just talk about the price on this thing before I sip it. This was $60 for 8-year, 21% MGP, 21% rye MGP. Single barrel. Proof here, we're clocking in at 56.3% ABV, which is like in my wheelhouse. 112.6 proof. That's the like ultimate sipping proof, right? Right around 110 to 115. The value here is ridiculous. And the other dancing goat pick that I have is also an entry proof podcast pick, and that's the Spaniard, which is aged in Spanish oak. That one's really weird. It's like one of those special occasion pours, kind of like seagrass, where you're like, I can't sit and like pound through one of these, but if I want to taste like some Texas barbecue, like some smoky notes, I'm going to go to that Spanish oak pick. It's almost got a scotchy kind of profile in that way. And this is just a crazy high value MGP single barrel that is kind of, to me, riding the line between 21 and 36% rye flavor profiles. Yeah. So I said this on Instagram earlier when I unboxed this, is that, oh wow, there's like an effervescence on this at the end. It's like you're drinking 7-Up. It just like totally brightened up as it got into the finish. Lemon lime and like that spritziness. Wow. It is so, I don't know if it's off profile, but it kind of defies its age of 8 years, where it has these youthful notes, it has these aged notes, and it's totally unique. So I can see why you guys picked this, but you're right that the buttercream notes are very prevalent here. I think it's more like a butter pecan ice cream. That's really what I'm getting. Let's see. Matt Porter, I saw this and I was like, what is he talking about? You're talking about my front yard. Oh my gosh, man. What's up? It's good to see you. And look, your reviews of the Dustin Poirier whiskey, that was hilarious. And then the review of Brendan Schaub's, the Tiger Thick. I really want to get a bottle of Tiger Thick. Look, Matt, I know you're an MMA guy. You're into it. You're into the comedians. I'm right there with you. And the Dustin Poirier whiskey really interested me because I thought maybe this is not going to be crap. The Brad Paisley whiskey sounded like it was actually pretty good. And it was kind of sad to hear about Dustin's whiskey. So I'm still going to get one. A little part of me wants to support him, even if he's being, engaging in a money grab. And then Brendan Schaub's, he's a goofy dude, but I'm curious, man. Corn whiskey and Japanese whiskey, that's interesting. Drew, man, I dig it. This is, and I have a backup, and I was like, it's either going to be a backup that I use. Like if I really like a bottle, half of me wants to keep it as a backup and half of me wants to do a giveaway so that someone else can have it. I'm probably going to keep this backup. It's good. Matt, I don't. So you just jumped in here, I think. This was sent to me by somebody to review. I'm going to have a very small sip. It's a 2020 King of Kentucky. Very small sip tonight. And then I'm going to shoot a review of this in the next couple of days, and then I have to send it back. But man, I'm just thrilled for someone to send this along. And I've smelled it. That's about all I've done, and it's ridiculous. Let's do it, man. Send me Ed's Tiger Thick, and then we can talk. Oh, that's funny. Let's see. Joe says $60 seems to be the point where you can start getting something worth having now. I agree. It seems like over the last 3 years, we've gone from like 40, like everything that was good at 40, that kind of being the barrier. I feel like the price barrier, it's 60 now. You're right. Absolutely. But all, yeah, there's a lot of good $50 bottles too. I mean, when you look at the rare breeds and the Pikesville Ryes and that kind of stuff. But if you're looking for something more like single barrel, a little more bespoke, if you want to say it that way, there are still some decent $50 values if you can find store picks of certain things. Oh man, I'm excited, Matt. Yeah. If you guys haven't already checked out Matt's 2 most recent celebrity whiskey reviews, they are epic. They're epic level material. Okay. So I'm going to set this aside because whiskey consumption tonight is going to be probably a little higher than I want it to be. So I got to take it easy. Small sips, small pours. So let's get the Dancing Goat out of here. I have a 10 a.m. dress rehearsal in the morning, and I'm playing the softest snare drum part, like this far off the drum head, and it's just me playing. So I got to be on my game tomorrow morning, so I can't drink too much this evening. What are we going to do next? Let's do something a little lower proof. Yeah, do I have anything that's lower proof? We could probably go here, actually. We could probably go E.H. Taylor Straight Rye, because I think the Old Elk, yeah, that's a little higher. Let's do this. Let's do E.H. Taylor Straight Rye, which, again, is a bottle that I've had one sip of, basically. All right, so not a lot of experience with this particular E.H. Taylor. The only E.H. Taylors I've ever tried are like the main 3, single barrel, small batch, rye, plus I've had a couple of samples of barrel proof E.H. Taylor, which is an amazing bottle. But the rye is one that I'm excited to kind of give a try tonight. And also the Bourbon Junkies just posted a review of this, which is kind of what got me thinking about this bottle. Top Dog says, I was able to score the King in Kentucky this year. I cracked it with Josh from Stuff and Whiskey. It's amazing. That's awesome. That is awesome. And very, very kind of you to share with Josh. That's cool. Blake Anderson, cheers, man. Good to see you. Jared says 20 King of Kentucky is probably the best whiskey I've ever had. Enjoy. Straight Rye's like cotton candy. Oh, okay. I got to not read this. I don't want to be influenced. What's up, Aiden? I'll be in and out. I'm watching a show. Oh, that is a weird show. Sarah and I watched that series. It's like horror chic, like horror comedy. Like, I don't know what you would even call it. It's weird. All right. So E.H. Taylor Straight Rye, obviously bottled and bond, 100 proof. I don't think anybody really knows much about the mash bill that's going on here. So I'm going to check this out. It's my first time really digging in. It smells good. It smells really good. Yeah, this has like that E.H. Taylor, really the Buffalo Trace, but like you get an E.H. Taylor single barrel and you have that really sweet oak profile. This has it. Like, this feels like it has actually quite a bit of age on it. Maybe like 9, 10 years old. I mean, that's the way it smells on the nose, at least with the oak profile. Yeah, but there is a little ethanol here. Like, it's not full of flavor. It's not rounded maybe quite enough. So you get a little bit of like the Mash Bill 2 grain notes. I'm thinking more specifically like a Hancock's Presidential Reserve or President's Reserve. That bottle has like a little bit more grain to it than like an Elmer Tea or even a Blanton's. You get a lot of grain on Hancock's, and that Mash Bill 2 grain note, I don't know really how to. It's almost like cinnamon and corn, and I don't know, but you get a little bit of that in here. But the way the rye notes are working, I guess the rye grain is working in this E.H. Taylor rye. It's not like you wouldn't smell this and go, oh, yeah, that's a rye whiskey. I mean, this is really sweet on the nose. Yeah. Have you guys ever, let me know if you've tried this. I see a few people in the chat have tried E.H. Taylor rye. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did announce this, didn't they? That there's going to be an E.H. Taylor rye barrel proof, which is probably going to be epic. And, $3,000 when it comes out on, like, everybody's going to flip it for $3,000 or something. Wow. Yeah. There's like a weird, so there's a lot of grain in here, sort of a floral grain spiciness. The spice is not coming off it's not coming off peppery to me. If it is, it's like white pepper and it's really kind of blended into those grain notes. But the spice is just working in tandem with everything else. Let's go ahead and try it on the palate. No, you're right, Blake. When I'm talking about the like the Mash Bill 2 stuff, I'm just talking about notes from Mash Bill 2, like the same kind of grain sweetness and profile. But yeah, this is its own mash bill specifically for this, I think. Yeah. This is really good, but it doesn't feel complex to me. In some ways, the finish is going on forever. Like in the back of the throat here, it's just like churning pepper and cinnamon in the back of the throat. But on the palate, this thing just kind of dies away. So it's interesting in that way. It's almost a little out of balance and not complex enough, but that doesn't mean it's not totally delicious. You guys are killing me in the chat. Yeah, but I'm actually getting a lot of leather in here too. That's the note that I haven't been able to put my finger on. It's along with that kind of sweet Buffalo Trace oak profile. I get a lot of leather on this rye. Cotton candy, a lot of people said in the chat. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, there is like this candy shop sweetness to it, but it's almost like it's like you open the door to the candy shop and someone just slams the door in your face. It's like you want it to be there, but the door is all the spice in the pour. And that just, it kind of squashes the sweetness. You really want to get into it, and then the spice is there, and it takes you away from it. So it's interesting that it's got these different kind of layers to it. But yeah, there's not a lot of development on the palate. That's kind of the problem. And, when you look at the MSRP of this bottle, which I feel like is around $70, that's a good deal for what this is. Sazerac rye is fine at like $25. If you can find it, it's nowhere to be found in Ohio, but in other places, it's all over the shelves. This is obviously a step up from that. And it's a pretty big step up in terms of MSRP. It's like 3 times the price. Secondary right now on this thing is $200, which is stupid. Think about what you can get for $200 secondary besides this pretty bottle and pretty label and exclusivity. You can get a Kentucky Owl rye for $200 on secondary. A batch 3 is $190. That's one of my favorite rye whiskeys of all time. And it tastes much more like a rye than this. This is really, really good. It's delicious, but a little bit simple. And yeah, I don't know. And I paid secondary for this. I want to like it. I spent a lot of money on this, but it's just fine. Let me check the chat. Okay. Lito, what's up, man? Doing a flight of Westland's single malt American oak, sherry, and peated. Awesome. I feel like I've been hearing that Westland is killing it. So maybe I need to get into some of this stuff. Lito, you'd be proud to know that last night I sipped on some Glendronach 18, Glen Scotia 15. What else? Something else. But I had a little bit of a Scotch night last night because I was watching Jason's stream with Jack from Hood Sommelier. Yeah, Aiden, the cinematography in that show is really, really good. I mean, everything it's beautiful. It's beautifully shot, beautifully produced. And after this, you're gonna listen to Mahler 5. Nice, man. That's a good choice. That's a long one. It's a good choice. Here's I saw something in here. What's up, Toshi Bake says, nice King of Kentucky. It's not mine. It's not mine, but I am gonna taste it tonight. This is what it was. Joe, I think scoring a limited E.H. Taylor bottle is a bigger flex than getting a Pappy or B-Tag. I kind of agree with you. Like, well, you know, some of the ones that aren't made anymore, obviously, that would be a big deal. But even like Warehouse C, like, yeah, I don't know exactly how limited that thing was, but it definitely wasn't easy to get, right? So, yeah. Wow, I totally forgot to talk about the giveaway tonight, guys. I'm 30 minutes in, and I forgot to talk about the giveaway, but it's never too late. Let me talk about it right now. Let's get this up. We are going to do a giveaway this evening with the typical super chat model. There might not be a mod in here that can keep track. I can actually keep track myself on my second screen down there and type this in as we go. But we are going to do a giveaway. I'm so pissed that I forgot. I'm going to be giving away a Sealbox Private Reserve Batch 2. This is a blend of two. It's a blend of two different things. It's a 10-year, 2-month-old bourbon from MGP and a 2-year, 6-month-old bourbon. So young, very young, and also pretty darn old for MGP. It goes into French oak barrels and ex-bourbon maple syrup barrels. And then this final batch was reblended and put back into the French oak barrels for the second batch. All right. So every $5 super chat is going to be an entry into the giveaway. I'm so sorry that I forgot. Let me put it up on the screen. It's a little late to do it, but that's okay. We're going to draw for this around 10 p.m. tonight. All right. So that's the deal. I'll leave this seal box up here so you guys can see it. Okay. Yeah, Blake, this thing is definitely not a $200 bottle. I mean, when I think about this compared to a lot of other things, I think an appropriate MSRP for this bottle is $50. 70 or whatever it is now, okay, that's fine. I get it. But like what this actually is, it's tasty, but it's simple and it's easy going. So I don't know. Jeff says the 2021 Bombergers that was included with the Michter's sample pack was pretty tasty, much better than the 2020 release. Interesting. I didn't have the 2020. Okay, so let's get out of here. We're going to get rid of the E.H. Taylor Straight Rye. You know, this bottle is probably going to last me a year or two because there are so many other rye whiskeys that I would rather drink than this. Although, obviously, when guests come over, this is a great one to pull down along with the single barrels and stuff like that. But it's just fine. Why don't I taste this next? All right, I actually have an open one over here. So this seal box private reserve stuff has been very interesting to me. Oh my god! Wow. So batch number 1 was this 10.5-year-old bourbon, and then this 2.5-year-old bourbon put into, again, these French oak and these maple syrup barrels and blended. And when you think about French oak and you think about maple syrup, French toast, you think about breakfast. And that first batch really did taste like breakfast. It was very, very spicy, though. As you can imagine, French oak has such a spicy influence on whiskey, and you have to manage it. You know, it's really easy to overfinish in French oak. Same with maple syrup, honestly. Those are good conflicting things, you know, good opposites to kind of blend together, I think. Batch 2 took, again, some of that finished batch 1, some of the I'm blanking. They reblended it. They reblended some of the batch 1 with some of the original blend, and then they put all of that back into French oak to marry. So proof on this batch 2 is 115.8. All right, so we're going to go ahead and check this out right now. And if it's good, hopefully that twists your arm and you'll get into the giveaway. No, I'm just kidding. Kind of kidding. Blake says, Seal Box sounds pretty good. Yeah, it's breakfast in a glass. At least batch 1 was. This is a little fruitier than batch 1. Oh, wow. This smells like pancakes with syrup and grape jelly. But there's also this really nice, actually, there's this spice note in here that almost is kind of like a pie crust. And thank you, Blake, for the super chat. I forgot to say that. There's this pie crust note in here. But I was trying to figure out why it was so spicy in this certain way. It's like espresso. It's almost like, I mean, it's like you're drinking espresso in the morning and eating pancakes with syrup. But it's not overly sweet. That's what's interesting about this. A lot of these maple syrup finishes can be really, really overdone. Toshi Big says, giveaway or not, you've always have good content. Happy to support. Haven't caught a live of yours before, but have been enjoying your reviews for months. Thought your Mr. Sam review this past week was great. Awesome. Well, thank you for the super chat. That's really generous. And, you know, I've been getting back into it here slowly as as I took this break and the channel's kind of come back now. I really wanted to pay attention first to the Patreon and the people that were paying monthly, really bring some stuff to them. And I feel like I've got the Patreon back on a really good track with kind of a remodel of that whole thing coming in February. And now I'm starting to get more content back out. The Instagram is kind of popping over there. And so I'm excited about everything. And I appreciate your support. And obviously that's going to be 4, entries into the giveaway here. So let me get those in. I will try not to take too much time as I track giveaways. Well, let's go ahead and try this seal box on the palate. Do we not have any mods in here right now? Oh, we don't. Trev was in here a second ago. Who can I mod up? Who can I throw a wrench at? If somebody wants to volunteer, I will make them a mod. Yeah, sorry. Some of the usual suspects are not here this evening, so I didn't realize that. But we do have a bot in here. Let me hide that comment. Remove it. There we go. Aiden, I did make mods a long time ago. Aiden, do you want to be a mod? Can I give you a wrench? Oh, man. This seal box is good. Oh, my God. Like, I knew it was pretty good, but I didn't realize. Oh, Amy's here. What's up, Amy? Matt, I'll do you. Matt, I'll throw a wrench at you. Here we go. Boom. Porter is doing the job. Oh, Amy, it's good to see you. No worries. All right, Tom. I'll see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. And these entry-proof picks are good. They're killing. Tipsy whiskey. I know, right? It is a little dangerous. I'm just kidding, Aiden. Yeah. Bogies and Barrels says Blake does great picks. I've never met Blake. There's a lot of guys in the industry that I feel like I know because I see them on streams and I see their Facebook or Instagram pages and stuff. And Blake's one of those guys where it's like you see him all over the place. But yeah, all the stuff that Seal Box is doing. I have another Seal Box pick I'm going to talk about tonight. Fantastic, really fantastic. 21090 says, cheers, Cam. That Seal Box Private Reserve is a really nice port. It is. It really is. I'm going to do a review of it soon, batch 2, and I'm also going to have batch 1 in there because I never actually made a video for batch 1. So I'm going to have both of those in the same video. Top Dog, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Oh man, Lito. Here, just because you finally had some scotch recently. Lito, that's funny, man. I just got an Aaron 10, and I've never had any of the Aaron stuff. And I think that might be my first review, my first scotch review back on the scotch side of things. So, because it's something that is brand new to me, and it's like all the scotches that I own, I feel like I kind of know their profiles now, and it's just been a long time since I've tasted or reviewed them. But the Aaron is like totally new. I also got a Tale of Winter and some other stuff as well. But thanks, man. That's funny. $25 super chat. I just got to drink more scotch, and Lito is gonna pay the Drums and Drams bills. So, all right. Breakfast in a glass, but this time a little fruitier breakfast. You got a little fruit cup on the side with your pancakes and maple syrup and coffee that you're drinking. And even a little bit of nuttiness in the background, like a hint of nuttiness. But the fact that there's 2.5-year-old whiskey in here from MGP, you really would not know it, at least in this. I feel like in batch 1, it was a little more obvious. Batch 2 was way more rounded. That's awesome. Okay. Let's see here. 21090 says we did not get batch 1. Yeah, I think I got rid of my backup actually of that. Bogies and Barrels says blind them. I'm not gonna blind them tonight because I got a lot of pours to get through. But maybe I will blind them in a future live stream or something. Aiden, I'll mod you. You know what, Aiden? I'm gonna mod you, dude. Come on. There we go. Aiden's a mod. Yeah, Mahler does it right, man. It's long and it's dramatic, but it's good music. Oh, Peter, man, Peter's talking fancy here with the Aaron 18 sherry cask. Come on. We don't get Aaron in Ohio, so I had to get that in Indiana, and I'm sure I'm never going to find anything that old. Aiden says, why? That's funny. Just got in the chat, says Christopher, what are we drinking? We're kind of transitioning right now. This is what I'm going to do next. Because I'm kind of increasing in proof as we go. We're going to go to Sam Houston 15, but we're going to do a side-by-side. And the reason is this batch of Sam Houston, the newest batch that came out, is 15 and a half years old. And it's stated at 15 and a half years old. So it's the oldest release to date. This is Indiana batch 4, coming in at 103 proof, just like the last batch of 15. And I'm going to grab, just right back here, I have the 15-year age stated, not 15 and a half. So let me grab that real quick. And I believe this previous 15-year, this is California batch 2. This was hooked up by Big Vic, who's in the chat sometimes. Big Vic, I believe, is the one who sent me this at cost. So I've got to say thank you to Big Vic for that. That's awesome. 21090 says, I get creme brulee and toasted marshmallow on that seal box too. Yeah, for sure. To me, it's like, again, if I'm sticking with the breakfast theme and I'm trying to think breakfast on this, it's just like putting some on not butter, like the whipped cream, or like you know what I'm talking about on your pancakes. It's not whipped cream, is it? It's like heavy, not heavy cream. What would you call it? Is it whipped cream? Top Dog says, I see the blue note over your shoulder. I'm going to get there. I've got 2 of those. Those are already poured out. They've been sitting out, getting some air. We're going to talk about that. Oh, what's up, Hendo? Thank you for the super chat, man, and cheers to you. Let me write that down real quick so I don't forget. Thanks, man. All right. Get some new glasses here. So, oh geez. So last time I was in Indiana was probably about a month ago. No, maybe a month and a half ago. And when I was out there, I came across this 15-and-a-half-year-old Sam Houston 15. And it was pretty darn close to retail, so I just went ahead and picked it up. I feel like you can't really have too many of these Sam Houstons. They're all pretty good. I am starting to notice now, months and months later, the batch inconsistencies between these things. And I haven't done this side by side before between this 15 and 15 and a half year. So I'm curious to see if there are distinct differences with this. Okay, so we're going to start on the younger side by 6 months. California Batch 2, 3-barrel blend, 522 bottles. Yeah. Let's check this out. Yeah, real typical, old Barton profile, that syrupy, dark cherry note, verging on medicinal, but not nearly as medicinal as a Calumet Farm 15. Tons of black pepper and Dr. Pepper spice and flat cola. This is actually getting kind of grapey to me. And there's a really nice and kind of heavy vanilla cream note on the 15-year that I have here. All right. Before I taste it, I'm going to nose the 15-and-a-half-year. Dunny says, "Where in Indiana?" So when I'm driving to Indiana, I'm coming from Ohio. So I'm coming in on the east side of the state. I usually stop off first in what is that city called? Richmond. Right across the border. I stop off in Richmond. I hit Papa Joe's. I keep going in, and I go to Newcastle. There's a couple places in Newcastle that I stop off at. I can't remember it. Noble Wine and Spirits. I found some good Discovery, like old Discovery batches in there. And I got a new riff malted rye last time I was there. And then I keep going into Greenfield, and there's a place called Chili's Discount Liquor in Greenfield. That place is where I scored a full case of Bardstown Copper and Kings Apple Brandy Finish. That was about a year ago now. That was a crazy find, and they knocked 10% off for me because I bought the case. So that was really cool. And then I head into Indianapolis, hit the Rural Inn, Total Wine, that kind of stuff. Johnny Five says, "Just stopping by. What's with the lid tonight, Cam?" What's up with the lid and the greasy freaking face is that I worked out like 2 or 3 hours ago and I didn't shower yet, so my hair looks, well, it's actually just kind of matted down right now. But I was like, I got to throw a hat on because I'm a grease ball and I'm going to shower right after this. DC, I hear Chili's has good baby back ribs too. Oh man, talking about Chili's makes me think of The Office. Sarah always has The Office playing in the background of our, at all times in the house, The Office is playing. Okay, guys. So now on to the 15-and-a-half-year on the nose. Huh. It's almost just muted. And there's like cashew in here. There's like a little nut quality. There are similar like aged Barton notes. The dark cherry, This one's a lot of barrel char. And this 15.5 year just seems kind of flat on the nose. So I'm going to taste the 15 year first. But right now on the nose, the 15 year has all of this vanilla and these rich fruits that the 15.5 is not. I don't know. Oh my God. This batch, California 2. I know Matt had this basically at the top of his list. Was it the top, Matt, of your list for whiskeys of the year? Dude, this California 2 batch is ridiculous. Wow. Okay. That's fantastic. And I liked that before. When I did my review of this, however many months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, I loved this batch of Sam Houston 15. 15.5. Let me just go to the palate. Ooh. That is way spicier. That drank like 120 proof. Whoa. And now there's a ton of like raspberry in the finish. It's not that same medicinal cherry note that you get on a lot of these old Barton products. Huh. It's not that I don't like the 15.5 year. It does feel a little heavier and more intense, but the balance on this batch, the 15 year, this feels like the sweet spot. It could be the barrels, the blend, it could be the age, but I don't think 6 months is really going to have that much of a difference in the grand scheme. Cornholio, thank you for the super chat. Let me get you down here. Appreciate it, man. Cheers all. Hope everyone is staying warm. Yeah, it got really cold today here in Ohio. Much colder than yesterday, and the snow is kind of melting now, which sucks. It's going to be cold. I want there to be snow on the ground, you know. Blake says, my Houston 15-year South Carolina is fantastic. Haven't popped my Georgia yet. Yeah, I mean, no matter what, like I'm being picky with this 15.5 year. This is amazing whiskey. And I've like traded away some of my backups, and I can't believe every time I taste this, I'm like, why did you trade that? It's so good. Zachary Jones, what's up? Yes, the 15 is head and shoulders above the 14. It is not even a comparison for me. But I think if this is any judge of what these 15.5 year batches are, they're much spicier and more intense. At least this particular batch, Indiana 4, there's not as much balance here. This is like balls to the wall kind of whiskey. Wow. Sorry, guys, I missed some not super chats, but I missed some chats up in here. And just a reminder about the giveaway tonight. It's this Seal Box Private Reserve Batch 2 French Oak and Maple Syrup finished MGP. It's like breakfast in a glass, and it's not overly sweet. Batch 2 is amazing, very well-rounded. Just so you guys know, that is the giveaway this evening. Paul Graham, what's up, man? Good to see you. You sent me a sample of the Blue Note 17. It was amazing. I picked up a bottle on secondary. It is amazing. Like, it's even if 15% of the profile is not for me because it's a little too, George Dickel. The complexity of the other 85% and what that brings to the table, it's like, I'm not going to bitch about that 15% because it's fantastic whiskey. And, these Dickel products, I keep saying it, I sound like a damn spokesperson for them now. The more air that these bottles get, it rounds this minerality off, and you can start to really get into what the notes are underneath it. Man, I'm glad you picked one up. I'm sure it wasn't cheap, but I'm sure it's going to be worth it. Yeah, someone said something about the Rural Inn. Cheers from Indiana. Ruralin is awesome. Used to go to Greenfield and Newcastle for work, but couldn't hit any liquor stores. Yeah, I'm telling you, Chili's discount in Greenfield and Noble in Newcastle. Those are the spots to hit. Company vehicle. I gotcha. All right, catching up here, guys. Trevor Kunkel says, you have snow down by you up here in Northwest Ohio. Ground is bare. You're in Northwest Ohio. Okay, yeah. So maybe kind of like Toledo area, Sylvania. Like we have some family up in Sylvania. Yeah, we still have a little bit on the ground here. A little bit. Amy with the super chat to make up for being late. So you have to track by hand. Oh, no, it's fine. Hopefully I don't screw it up, but I think I've got everybody in here. So we're good. Thank you, Amy. And seeing Amy's name popping up reminds me that the next review to drop on the channel, it's either tomorrow or Saturday. I haven't decided yet. I have dress rehearsal in the morning and a concert tomorrow night. So if I can get the thumbnail done and the description in the midst of like doing other work tomorrow, then the Sagamore 8-year rye, this is going to be my next review that's going to pop up on the channel. So keep an eye out for that. Whether it's tomorrow or Saturday, it's going to happen. Cool. So I think we've, you can't go wrong with Sam Houston 15. But look, if you find the 15-year stuff and not the 15 and a half, it may or may not be better. At the end of the day, you should just buy every one of these that you see at MSRP because they're that good. Okay. I got to do a little reorganizing. 1 second. Let's see. All right. I'm going to use like 14 whiskey glasses tonight. All right, guys. Blake says that 17-year Blue Note is stupid good. It is stupid good. It is stupid good. Trevor, a lot of Dickel haters out there, but when it's blended right and plenty of airtime, that's absolutely true. I think you really have to use it sparingly in blends, but you can do it right. I think Bardstown screwed up with Discovery 5. Discovery 6, that's how you use 17-year Dickel in a blend, even though it was only, I think, 1/6 of the blend, 16% basically. And what else? What else have I been enjoying? Oh, the Barrel Bourbon Batch 28. What a surprise to me that thing, even with being primarily Tennessee whiskey, I think, really good. I never tried or seen Sam Houston 12. I actually like the 12 more than the 14. And again, it could be batch to batch, but I love that Sam Houston 12. It's just, I like the youth. It's not youth. It's 12 years old. It just has a little more life to it. It's not as bogged down as the 14, especially at the low proof of the 14. 21090. We have the Seal Box 2. So this is for Amy. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you for doing that. That's really cool. Holy crap. Paul Graham, dude, $50. Thank you so much. That is amazing. Paul, you've been one of the biggest supporters of the channel. And look, I'm going to grab my Blue Note 17 and toast to that. Give me 1 sec. So I save this bottle for special occasions and to give to friends when we have whiskey nights together. Because it's so amazing. So Paul, man, thank you so much for supporting the channel, getting in on the giveaway, obviously, but it just means a lot. And I really appreciate you, man. So cheers. That stuff is so good. Oh my God. All right, Paul, I got to put your name down 10 times. Copy paste is my friend. Thanks, man. Oh my gosh. Next time I'm out, I can't talk. Next time I'm out west, I'm hitting you up. We're gonna have a pour together. I have not been out west in quite a while though. Freaking COVID. Oh, now I'm just hyping Blue Note 17. Zachary Jones, man, thank you for the super chat. Breakfast is superior to all foods. I am with you on that, except for Wagyu beef. I get Wagyu beef once a year with Sarah at this restaurant, this very fancy restaurant in town. We get it usually in December, once a year, and we always get some Wagyu beef when we go there, and it's like $20 an ounce, but it's the best. But anyways, breakfast. It's like, why am I talking about Wagyu beef? Breakfast is so good. I eat eggs. I'll eat eggs for every meal. I love them. A good egg sandwich or egg wraps, sausage, bacon. Come on. It's so good. Thanks for the super chat, Zach. Zachary Jones. Write me down twice. Appreciate it. Okay. Wow. Amazing stuff. Guys, we've had a really good turnout tonight so far. For those of you who are hanging out in here, obviously we have the giveaway going. You can see the scrolling down below to kind of, check that out. I'm keeping track of all the super chats, so we're going to draw for that giveaway at about 10 p.m. Wow, it's only 9 p.m. Time is actually it's kind of going slow, which is cool. I get to drink more whiskey and hang out. It felt like it was much later, but it has been a long day. So we're going to draw around 10 p.m. for that. And then for those of you in here right now, hit that like button if you wouldn't mind. Let's get some more people hanging out. But we've had a great turnout tonight, especially as the channel's been coming back. These live streams have been around 30 people, 35 people. So to see 50, 55, almost 60 tonight, that's been really, really cool. So thank you guys for hanging out and spending your Thursday evening with me. I know that we're going to have some other live streams popping up at 9 p.m. Probably Drew P is going to be going live, and Like Time, I think they're probably going to be on at 9 p.m. So if you guys want to duck out, go back and forth, totally understand. But the plan is to draw for the giveaway around 10 p.m. So if you want to check back in, but obviously you got to support as many channels as possible, in this time of so many whiskey channels now. Good reminder. I got to keep hydrated. Yeah. Cheers to Paul Graham. Cheers to Paul. Man. Will Wagyu steak and eggs? That Wagyu, it just melts in your mouth. Oh my God. You know what else melts in your mouth? I'm just kidding. Okay. We might not get through all these pours tonight, but we might get through. We still have an hour, so we got some time here. Yeah, 210.90. Let's keep it above 50. I know. I think usually when the new streams start at 9, people fall off, and then a lot of people end up kind of going between and coming back and stuff like that. So it is, man. It is tough to support everybody. I've been trying to get in as many chats as I can recently. As my channel has come back, I'm like, at this, as much as you want to do your own thing and you want to silo yourself and put all your work into editing and Instagram and recording and stuff, it's like, you need to go out and support others. So I'm trying to kind of think of it like 80-20, 80 of my own stuff, 20% being in people's chats and buying their picks and being in their, Patreon and all that kind of stuff. David Babcock, that's a great gift, man. 2016 Barai, 15, 16, 17 are all amazing. And my 16 is very low because it's very good. Top dog. Let's do it. Okay, guys. So on Instagram earlier, wait, what do I have in front of me? Oh, this is the Blue Note. I got to keep that nearby. That's a special one. I'll probably end my night with that. On my Instagram live stream earlier, it was like 15 minutes long. A short one, but I did an unboxing. Yesterday I did one. I did an Instagram live unboxing, and I got this. So this is from Sealbox. It's their 3-barrel blend of the Blue Note Juke Joint whiskey. Try to say that 3 times fast. Blue Note Juke Joint whiskey. And this is, it's good. And I'm going to taste it right now and talk about it. But this, again, arrived yesterday. I tasted it. And then today I had another Sealbox package arrive with the Dancing Goat pick that we talked about earlier. And also with a single barrel Juke Joint. So 3-barrel blend yesterday. Today I got the single barrel, and the single barrel that I picked up here when they sent out the, not the press release, but they sent out the advertisement saying, hey, it's in stock. It was called something like Werther's Original or Werther's Candy, and they said it was a total butterscotch bomb. So anytime someone says butterscotch and whiskey, you buy it, right? Whether it's 1980s whiskey, which is like the ultimate butterscotch, or even today, you buy butterscotch whiskey. At least that's the way I look at it, right? So I wanted to kind of talk about these very quickly because they are recent pickups, and I'm actually really excited about them. The mash bill here is 70% corn, 21% rye, and 9% malted barley. Now, many of you know the 21% rye mash bill from MGP, which is 75 corn, 21 rye, 4% malted barley. This is not that. This is only 70, 21, and then 9 barley. So I don't know where these are from. I don't know if this is MGP. It's not. It's distilled in Kentucky. So this could be, it could be like a Bardstown Bourbon Company thing. I don't really know. And if you guys know this mash bill, I would love to know, you know, if you guys know where these things come from. But I'm going to start by tasting the blend, the 3-barrel blend, which is 60.4% ABV. Great proof for that. What Blake from Sealbox said that they did was they picked 3 different barrels. One was a stewed apple barrel. That was kind of their notes. One was a buttered popcorn barrel. And one was a baking spice barrel. So you have apple, buttered popcorn, and baking spice all put together. So that's what this one is. Let's go ahead and nose and taste that. As I nose this, I'm going to catch up on the chat, guys. Yeah. Blake, they do source from Dickel, but not everything. It looks like they're sourcing from kind of all over the place for this stuff. So the 17 is Dickel, but this is the Juke Joint uncut. Yeah. All right, so the 3-barrel blend. Oh my God. Yeah, so the 3-barrel blend is a little muted on the nose. A little bit ethanol forward, and like power of suggestion here, I know, but you do get apple notes here. You get some green apple, those youthful green apple notes. And it's high rye. It's 21% rye. You do get a little bit of this caramel butterscotch candy in here. It's faint now. It's faint and in the background. Yeah, it's almost like some sort of, I'm trying to think of what kind of candy that would be. It's like I'm getting kind of like a caramel covered apple, but not like a fresh apple covered in caramel, like a candy, an apple candy covered in caramel candy. That's what this really is. The palate's intense. I mean, it is like almost uncomfortably proofy up front. It dies away fairly quickly, but I could see wanting to sip this. It's got and a little bit of nuttiness on the back end. It's got a nice profile, and it's not like any other bourbon of this age. This is pretty youthful, I believe. And at this price point, $50. Now, moving on to the single barrel pick, Jared Riley, who's right down the street from me, says, excited to hear your thoughts on the Werther's barrel. That's what this is. Got one on the way. Dude, I can tell you right now before I smell this, you're going to dig this. So on the nose, the 3-barrel blend, I said it's a little muted. Onto the single barrel. This smells like butter, like if you have chocolate chips, but you have butterscotch chips. It smells like butterscotch chips that you would bake with. It is so intensely butterscotch. It's an incredible barrel. I've never smelled a whiskey that smells so much like truly like this candied butterscotch than this. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. The palate is a little, it's kind of jagged. It's just like bop, bop, bop. It's just, it hits you, you know, it's like right to the freaking jaw and body shot and then an uppercut in the chin. It's like hitting you in all different areas. It's not a smooth experience, but it's really good. and it's young. I mean, you can't expect too much from this, but the notes in here, like, to me, drinking experience, construction, all that development, all that matters on the palate. But what matters most is, does it taste good? Even if it's thin, even if it falls off on the back end, does it taste good? Because subjectively, I want to drink the stuff that tastes good to me. This is that. Jared, I think you're going to dig this, man. Really good. Rockout Review. Ed is in the house. What's up, man? I saw Matt reviewed your Tiger Thick whiskey. I went and searched around for it as much as I could, and then I heard Brendan say something about a distributor problem, and I was like, that makes sense, because I couldn't find it anywhere. Ed, you got like 4,000 subs or something like that from that video. I mean, it was epic, dude. Epic. Oh my gosh. Carl says, we were thinking about some Juke Joint a while back, but with Penelope. Oh, you can't go wrong with either one of those. And if most Juke Joint picks are along these lines, or even just have a flavor note that's as distinct as the butterscotch note in here, if all of them are that focused, man, in 4, 5, 6 more years, whatever this whiskey is, wherever this comes from, it is going to be very special. And maybe we see a return to the profiles of dusty whiskeys, which are known for their butterscotch notes. I don't know. Wow. So I think these were around $50 a pop. If you guys see a Juke Joint single barrel pick around that $50 price point, that's a buy. It's not the most refined old whiskey, and I think that's okay. All right, I got to get a little water in my body. Rehydrate. Just a reminder for everybody in here, we do have a giveaway this evening. You can see it scrolling below. It's the Sealbox Private Reserve Batch 2, a.k.a. Breakfast in a Glass, maple syrup, baking spice notes, coffee on the finish, some nice dark fruits. Really, really good stuff. French oak, maple syrup finish, MGP. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. All right, so I could probably do 4 more very small pours. Each of these I've only been taking really small sips. And I'm looking around at what I've got here, and I think we're actually on track. So, Old Elk Armagnac finish, Larceny C921, the newest batch of Woodford batch proof, not the 5 malt stouted mash, because I'm not going to, everybody said it sucks. I'm not even going to spend my money on that. So this is the 119.8 proof. And then to end the night, we're going to do this. A little pour of the King 2020 edition, short barrel, 133.2 proof, courtesy of Ashton Salts, who was kind enough to send that my way. Aiden, father my children or else. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh my God. All right. So if we're going to go by proof, I know we kind of jumped up for the Juke Joints. Let's take a look at the Old Elk Armagnac cask finish. This is an interesting one for me. And when anyone puts anything out that's Armagnac finished, I really don't care how much it costs. I go and buy it immediately. Because in my head, I'm going, please be as good as Chateau de la Baude. Please be as good as Chateau de la Baude. And it never is. But that's okay, because Chateau de la Baude is $900 on the secondary market now. And unfortunately, it's really amazing. So this is another Armagnac cask finish. I don't remember the mash bill here for Old Elk, but I know it's the high malt mash bill. So we're talking a lot of malted barley, which is going to give you some nice honey notes, almost like kind of a scotchy characteristic there. Sometimes you get it, yeah, kind of this golden raisin, grain, honey, those kinds of things from that. And then we're finishing in an Armagnac cask. MSRP on this Old Elk is something around $90, which is not cheap. Proof 108.5. So, you know, a good sipping proof. Let's check this out. I'm not like the biggest. I'm not going to say that. I'm not familiar with Old Elk. I haven't sat down and tasted a lot of their stuff. I still have a flight from somebody of like all the mainstay Old Elk offerings that I need to go through and taste in sample bottles, but I don't know much about it. So I'm kind of an open book here. I'm willing to, you know, go whichever way on this Armagnac cask finish. Blake, thank you for the super chat. Wouldn't it be something if people were contracting Dickel for their bourbon, not their standard profile? It would make sense if it's a different profile. Well, and Blake, I think kind of what you're talking about too is, at least to me, when I hear that the Blue Note 17 did not go through the Lincoln County process, when I hear that and then you taste it and you go, this is not nearly as mineral tasting as some of the other stuff. If that is the culprit, which we still don't really know that that's the culprit, because even when it doesn't go through the Lincoln County process, there's still some Dickel minerality to it. But let's say, for instance, that's responsible for 75% of that particular flavor. Yeah, if you contract distilled Dickel and said, don't put it through the Lincoln County process, you could have some really special stuff on your hands, especially if you're going to blend it. Especially if you're going to blend it. Bogies and barrels. Yes, I am going to do King of Kentucky last. You know, because I don't want to, for me personally, it's not to make you guys wait. It's because I don't want to drink anything after I have a sip of King of Kentucky. You know, that's got to be the final pour of the evening. Jordan Lopez, hate to build the hype, but had a pour of 2020 King of Kentucky, and now any of those is my unicorn bottle. I've just smelled this one, and it's my unicorn bottle. All right. 108.5 high malt mash bill Old Elk Armagnac finish. Let's check it out on the nose. Huh. It's you can smell the Armagnac influence right away. Lots of, it smells like young cognac, young Armagnac. But it's a distinctly kind of funky grape note. But the overall profile of this is really kind of light and airy, if that makes sense. It doesn't feel heavy at all. And I think it's got to be the high barley content in here. It's kind of grain forward. It's very sweet. Yeah, kind of like some sort of cereal, maybe. I don't know if it's like Cheerios with sugar sprinkled on it or some sort of grain quality, though, with this really kind of young but tasty smelling funky grape note from the Armagnac. It smells like the Armagnac barrels. It doesn't smell like they were using like 40-year-old Armagnac barrels. It smells like they were using probably cheaper Armagnac barrels. And I don't know if that's the case. That's totally an assumption. I'm gonna taste it and go back to the nose. Oh. Wow, that is juicy. Sorry about all the mouth sounds and how much time that took. Okay, so I let that sit on my palate for a while because the proof is only 108.5 and it felt like a lighter profile. And as a result, it was extremely juicy. A lot of notes showed up on the palate that I wasn't getting on the nose at first. Tons of milk chocolate here. And when you get an older whiskey, an older base whiskey, or an older Armagnac cask being used to finish, you tend to get dark chocolate notes or espresso notes. When you start tasting milk chocolate in something like this, it's either that the base whiskey's young or the Armagnac casks are young. And in this case, it could be both of those things, but you're getting an immense amount of milk chocolate on the palate. It's explosive. It's really juicy and fruity and fresh feeling, and I like that about it. And there is a Scotch component to this. I'd be hard pressed to kind of place it to a distillery, almost like a Glen. If I had to, I would say it's maybe around a Glenmorangie, a cross between a Glenmorangie and a 10 and a Glenfiddich 15. You're getting these kinds of profiles, but it's in a bourbon. But this golden grain honey note, so prevalent. But the palate, man, and it's sour and tart on the fruit. Oh, all right. I'm kind of sold on this stuff. It's not your Chateau de la Baude, but it's really good. And it's totally different. And I think what I'm more drawn to about this is the uniqueness. Like other Armagnac finished whiskeys, there's not many. I've actually seen Good Times do it, and those are kind of tastes like you poured Armagnac in the barrel. We're not going to go into that, but other Armagnac finished whiskeys, Joseph Magnus and Chateau de la Baude, you can't include in the conversation. So you're talking about this and maybe a handful of others. This is actually really darn good. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's get moving. Let's move on. I'm going to do the next two a little bit quicker, at least I hope. That way I can just fawn over what I assume is going to be an epic pour at the end of the night. Numbers have dwindled a little bit. Totally understand. Other streams, and also I've been just yapping about Old Elk Armagnac finish. But for those of you guys left, just, giveaway, all that good stuff, like button, all those good YouTube stream reminders. Blake, is it worth the $100 for the Old Elk Armagnac finish? I don't know. It's like, what else could I spend $100 on if I'm thinking of a whiskey, like a limited whiskey or even something on the shelf? It's a weird price point because like George T. Stagg is like MSRP 100. You're never going to find it. But also like Yellowstone limited edition is 100. So it's such a wide variety. And that's why I feel like MSRP just doesn't tell the whole story of anything. I actually think this might be a good pickup. But what I've heard is that the cognac cask finish Old Elk is a little bit better than this Armagnac. So the jury's still out on this. I'm going to do my best to pick up a cognac cask finish and see what that's like in comparison. Because I'm curious. And if that's better, I'm trying to think of why it would be better. Why the cognac cask? Because I love Armagnac stuff more than cognac in terms of finishing, all the stuff I've had. I'm trying to think of why it would be better, why it might blend better with this mash bill. I don't know. So for what it's worth. Oh, Carl, man, that's a hard day. Putting down an 18 or a 21 Glendronach that's like a hard day for me. Talking Scotch, that's good. And Colin's the guy you want to talk to, Aiden. Colin's going to set you straight on anything Pete or anything Campbelltown, especially. Colin's a Campbelltown fiend. So one of these days I need to make it up to Wisconsin and have a pour. Okay, next up, guys, you know I hate this shit. Larceny barrel proof. But I did a first impression video for my patrons. And then I did a written review for my patrons. And I'm curious to revisit this bottle. They have the squeakiest corks. Let's try it. Breaking Bourbon gave this a really favorable review. I was pretty lukewarm. Like batch B521. Step up, but still kind of lukewarm. But I think revisiting this is going to be important. So let's go ahead and check this out. Batch C921 is 122.6 proof or 61.3% ABV. And dang it, I just want Larceny barrel proof to be good. It's a barrel proof weeder from Heaven Hill. They've got the old Fitz line. It's like if you don't have good enough stocks, just lay down more weeded bourbon, damn it. Like give the people what they want, you know? Mark, I think you sent me B521, and this is the C921, which I just got somewhere. I got it in a trade here in Columbus, a trade for an Elijah Craig toasted barrel, which I had an extra of for this C921. Trevor, I don't blame you. Save your money until you hear that a batch is amazing. Like at this point, I buy them because I'm like, oh, maybe it's going to be good. The same way I buy Booker's for that reason. Screw that. You know, don't do that. Blake got to run. I'll try to hop in for the end. If not, Blake, if you check back if you end up winning the giveaway. And if you do, just send me an email, drumsanddrams@gmail.com. If you don't make it back, I'll find a way to contact you. We'll make it happen. All right. Got to coat this glass. Let's get into this Larceny. Let me get a little water first. My nose and palate are starting to weaken, with having this quite a few pours, like 9 so far. But they're all very small pours, and I'm not finishing them. So that's good. 45 people in chat. That's amazing. Thank you guys for jumping in. Hit that like button if you're just stopping by. We're tasting Larceny Barrel Proof Batch C921. Then on to Woodford Batch Proof, and then on to King of Kentucky. I think I just need a sip of this first. This batch of Larceny actually has an interesting mineral note to it. And maybe it's not mineral. Larceny B521, which everybody now is saying like, oh my God, this is the best batch. It is really good. It's a little too grassy for me. It's like freshly cut grass, especially on the finish. And it's really, really sweet. It tastes like you poured a sugar packet into your whiskey and drank it. This C921 has that same effect with the sugar on the palate. But it's actually easy to mistake that for minerality. Like it almost reminds me, this is the Blue Note 17, the George Dickel. There's like some similarity there in that mineral profile. In terms of nuance right now, my nose is a little shot. But this C921, it seems a little fruitier, a little darker, which I like. It's not just a peanut bomb. But there's also quite a bit of ethanol and youth in here, as all the other batches have had, unfortunately. There's a nice kind of caramel syrup drizzle note. Yeah, one more on the palate. And good cinnamon here. Good cinnamon. I'm going to say that. It's just too sharp on the front end. Yeah. Larceny was like god awful. And then B521 happened, and you're like, oh my God, this is good. And then C921 is just like a little step up from that. That's where we're at. But I would actually understand why people might like B521 over C921. Excuse me. B521 is sweeter. It's a little more approachable. This one, darker and more intense. So it's just kind of like, what profile do you want at the end of the day? Christopher says, I love Old Elk store picks. The finished ones like Sherry Cask and the one you had tonight need to open up. Yeah, and this doesn't have a lot poured out of it, but I picked this up basically the week the press release came out, which I think was a couple months ago, is when I picked this up. So it has had time to be open, get a little bit of air, and it has gotten better. When I first reviewed it, I sat down with it. I think I posted to my patrons that it was just not that good. It has gotten better. So yeah, Larceny C921. If you find it for $50, the MSRP, more peanut is appearing. It's just glorified Booker's, guys. It's a more well-rounded Booker's, but wheat instead of rye. That's the way I look at this. We got 2 pours left. One of them is extremely special, and one we're going to find out if it's special. Christopher, let me make sure I write your name down for tonight's giveaway. Okay. Both of these final 2 pours are Brown-Forman products. And, you know, when I first got into American whiskey, from that point until about 6 months ago, I did not like Brown-Forman. It just, something about it, I don't know why I couldn't get into it. It felt too sweet, too candied, too young. And I think the more I've drank high-level Brown-Forman limited releases, you start to realize, like, oh, this is what Brown-Forman's supposed to be. Whether it's the Jack Daniel's special releases, the rye, the Woodford batch proofs, which I feel like I really have enjoyed so far. We'll see about this. Or on the Old Forester side of things, the 117 series has been some of the best whiskey that I've ever tasted. So I think once you kind of see the upper echelon of what it could be, you start to realize, like, oh, when I drink Old Forester 86 or Old Forester 100 or Cooper's Craft or Woodford or Woodford Double Oak, like this is just part of the equation, and this is where it can evolve to. So maybe that helped me kind of get into the Brown-Forman profile, but now I love Brown-Forman. So let's start with this 119.8 proof Woodford batch proof release. Mark, yes, this is the Woodford. Everybody was talking about this, something to do with like the Costco release. I don't think it was exclusive, but I think maybe it dropped first at Costco, right? Or like it felt like it came really early in some areas in Costco, and then it started to trickle out over the next few months to other places. But I ended up buying this at the early stages when it did drop at Costco from somebody on secondary at like a super reasonable price. And I just, I paid the upcharge of like $30 and had it shipped. It was no big deal. So that's what we're going to start with first. And then we're going to go to King of Kentucky. I got to get a little more water. What time we got? 9:32. All right. So what is there to know? 119.8 batch proof. That's it. Let's check it out. Oh. So I have not really had a lot of Woodford batch proof over the last, however many years. The first one I tried was a sample of, I want to say it was 123.8 maybe. And then I ended up getting the first batch proof in this bottle, which I think is 128.3. I think that's right. And this is the second one I've owned. I don't have a lot of experience with the line, but on the nose, this smells older than the other ones that I've had. There's like that sour, funky oak quality here that you wouldn't expect from like a Brown-Forman product. Yeah, there's a little bit of the dry wood component from like an Old Forester barrel proof, the really young dry wood thing at barrel strength, top floors of the rick house, that kind of thing. You get a little of that here, but you also get a lot of chocolate covered cherries. Oh yeah. It's like Knob Creek 12 oak, sour, musty oak, plus chocolate covered cherries. And an overall kind of like menthol, vanilla freshness. Oh, man. And a little bit of barrel char. It smells great. It smells great, and it's actually really approachable. There's not any ethanol on the nose to speak of here. And that's typically the problem I have with a lot of Brown-Forman high-proof bottlings. Old Forester barrel proofs, even the rye has some ethanol on that. This is balanced. 119.8. It's a lower proof point, but I don't care because it's balanced. Mark, you could be right about that. I really don't know. It seems odd that it would be Costco only, but who knows? I really like the first release of the year in this bottle. The higher proof, I really dug it. Other reviewers didn't dig it so much. I like this as well. So I'm going to have to do a side-by-side of these. It's not super fair because there's 10 proof points of difference between them, but I like them both. This is really good whiskey. And I see a lot of people just taking hot, steaming dumps on Woodford batch proof in these new bottles. I think it's good. I don't understand why people don't like it. I don't know if they associate it with other Brown-Forman, like those Old Forester picks, the barrel strengths or what, but I think it's really good. There's a signature grain quality here too. Like Woodford Reserve has a particular note, and I don't know if it's got to be the grains. There's a note in that's a little bit sour or something. And I feel like I'm getting that here. Aiden, me too, man. I feel you. Tomorrow's payday. It's like YouTube payday, Symphony payday. I got a couple paydays tomorrow coming in. I'm with you. Jeff, that's the one. The 128.3 was the previous release. That's the one I'm talking about. That I own that one, and I own this 119.8. Trevor, I like Woodford, yes, better than any Old Forester barrel proof that I've had. There could be really good ones floating around out there. I have a Warehouse K floor 5 pick for Old Forester. People say that the K8 picks are amazing and all that kind of stuff. Other people, like when you're going to go to a high floor of a rick house, it's really hot. I love tier 6 Four Roses, but it's not the most refined stuff. It's just intense, and the flavors are really baked in. And there's a quality to tier 6 in the same way that there's probably a quality to K8 on Old Forester, whereas I went for a K5 because I felt like maybe I'm going to get the best of both worlds. It's a pretty medium floor in the rick house, you know. But of any of them that I've tried so far, Woodford batch proof, these 2 bottles that I own are better. Yeah. That's good. That's about the oldest tasting Woodford product I've ever had, besides the very fine rare. Guys, this 119.8, if you see it at MSRP, I know it's expensive, around 120 or so. It's worth a pickup. It is really worth a pickup. I will have to, you know, very soon do a side-by-side. And you know what? Maybe I should do it now. I've got a couple of minutes here. I see a bot in here, guys. If someone can take care of that. Thank you, Aiden. Thanks for getting that. Mark says, oh, thanks, Mark, for the super chat. $10 super chat. The 119.8 tastes older to me also. Yeah, I think it's got to be older. It's got to be. Let me grab the higher proof one. Oh, wow. So this is a brand new bottle. I must have cracked it, but I haven't had a pour out of it yet. And the one thing I remember about the 128.3 is that it was a hot bottle, like right off the neck. I don't think I have another cup. This is King of Kentucky cup. I got to keep that. Let's see. Okay. What am I going to pour out here? I'll rinse this glass. Guys, we're about to finish up with this Woodford comparison and then King of Kentucky, Brown-Forman Extravaganza. But if you haven't already liked this video, please. And remember, we do have a giveaway for this Seal Box Private Reserve Batch 2 French Oak and Maple Syrup Barrel Finish. Breakfast in a glass. Every $5 super chat gets you an entry to this tonight. So we've already got quite a few entries, 34 entries for this bottle, which is awesome. But if you guys are, trying to get in on this, get those super chats in the next 15 or so minutes. I'm going to rinse this a little bit more, get a little more water, and then do this Woodford comparison. Okay, so as you can see, well, it's kind of hard to see actually. Let me scoot these back. The keyboard's kind of in the way here. There we go. All right, so 119.8, 128.3. Let's check this out. I'll start with the 119 because it's a little lower proof. Obviously, I've already nosed and tasted it, but all right. And now to the 128.3. Wow, it's way more intense. Like the ethanol that I don't like in Brown Foreman stuff is in the 128.3. Yeah. So the 128.3 does smell younger. It's got a lot of that cherry note that the other one has as well, but it's like a little bit of a more tart cherry. Yeah. Not candied, but just tart. There's good chocolates in here. Sour apple, green apple. I like it. But the 119.8, much, much older here. At least on the nose. I don't know that it's much older, but it just smells older. Yeah. Let's taste the 119.8. And now 128.3. That will wake you up. All right. So for fans of like the traditional barrel proof bourbon idea, I'm thinking of like Elijah Craig barrel proof, like Booker's, that kind of stuff. People that like that intensity. The 128.3 is crazy intense on the palate. And you also get a lot of these great kind of somewhat aged Woodford notes. The chocolate covered cherry, although it's a little bit of a brighter cherry kind of note. But you're getting a lot of that stuff on the 128.3, but delivered in a package that's going 100 miles an hour. And the 119.8 is just more refined, more elegant, more delicate. Even it's still 120 proof basically, but it doesn't drink like it. It drinks so easily. Yeah, and that oak profile is freaking awesome. Wow. I don't know that, I mean, preference for me is going to go to 119.8, but if I'm in a mood where it's like I want to get my face ripped off and just have an intense bourbon in my glass, the 128.3 is there for me as well. I think they're both great, you know? I really do. So that means we just have to do this and blend them. Oh, Kyle, thanks for the content. Kyle, how do you say your last name? If you're still here, can you sound it out for me? Because if you're ever in the chat again, I don't want to say it incorrectly. But Kyle, thank you for the super chat. And yes, I am here for the content, man. And I appreciate you supporting. Got you entered into the giveaway here, so I appreciate it. And then I saw another super chat, David. Glad you're back. Glad you're back for the content. Cheers, Cam. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Kyle C-Mate. Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, it's good to see a new name. Even if you've been lurking in the past, it's good to see you pop up in the chat, man. So thank you for being here, Kyle. All right. This is the Woodford blend. I think that's a good blend. It was basically 60-40 if I had to eyeball it. A little bit more of the 128.3 because I had already sipped on the 119.8 quite a bit. If you do 60-40, try that blend. This is really good. Very balanced. They've kind of evened each other out. What's up, Jason? Hey, man. Good to see you. Your stream last night, I was in there for quite a while, man. That was a fun stream with Jack. You know, that dude, what did he keep saying? He said, he kept saying that you were choosing violence. And that phrase I love one. I think that's hilarious, but just the way he would say it, dude. It's like, oh man, you're choosing violence. It's like he was just saying, don't fuck with me on whatever this issue is, and I loved it. It cracked me up. So that was a really fun stream, and I was sipping along with scotch, which I haven't had enough of recently. So that was a good time, man. Very, very cool. Yeah, Trevor, the legends in the house, right? I always think it's hilarious that we're like, I remember when I first started watching Jason's channel, and I don't want to go off on a tangent here, guys, but I'm gonna go on a little bit of one. You know, when I first started into the whiskey thing, at least trying to develop my palate, I've drank Elijah Craig and Woodford for many years, since I turned 21, basically, probably before. But when I got into Whiskey Tube, I started with Scotch, and I started with whiskey.com, and watching Horse Looning, and I was watching Ralphie because it was just all Scotch content. And then when I went to American Whiskey, the first person I found with American Whiskey was Jason. And so I watched a lot of Jason's content, and then I started watching some of Matt Porter's content when he was kind of earlier on. And I'm trying to think of who else I watched. But like really, Jason, just to tell you and everybody else, I developed my bourbon palate, my tasting notes based on your videos, because with the Scotch thing, you kind of have to learn the ropes. It's like, okay, in Scotch, they talk about the way that the peat smoke can be. They talk about the way the honey notes could be, or, these kinds of things. And then when you get to bourbon, it's like a paradigm shift to talking about different caramels and butterscotches and vanillas and red fruits and dark fruits and dusty funk. And so kind of going between those, it's like I developed that by watching Jason's videos and then Matt's videos and then Bourbon Junkies. And I went down the rabbit hole before I said, okay, now I'm going to start my own channel. But, it's pretty funny to me. And then when I found out Jason's a drummer in Columbus, I was like, what? That's crazy, Kyle, thanks, man. Yeah, I watch a good amount of your videos. Definitely helps making sure I don't blindly buy duds. Bro, what's your main career? So Kyle, that's an interesting question. First and foremost, I'll just say I'm a musician. I'm a percussionist, right? So I do play in the Columbus Symphony Orchestra. But most of what I did, at least before COVID, was I was touring around as a soloist, playing recitals, like solo recitals at universities and at concert halls. And then I was playing concertos, which is like a solo, but with an orchestra as kind of the accompaniment behind you. So at the front of the stage with an orchestra as the soloist. And that's what I was doing before COVID. And then COVID hit, and I haven't been able to get back on the road. I used to tour for probably 20 weeks out of the year, being on the road. And so now it's like I've kind of transitioned things. I'm playing more with the symphony here in Columbus in the back of the orchestra as a section percussionist, not as a soloist. But as soon as things open back up, I'm going to get back on the road and do all my solo work and stuff like that. But it's been a weird time, man, being truly kind of like a freelancer 100% of the time. I do marketing work for people. I do videography for people. I do recording stuff. I do all sorts of things right now to kind of, get by before I get back on the road. So, yeah. Yeah, Trevor, I agree, man. Good history, good tasting notes, and, just like the overall vibe, the approachability, all that. It's really good. That's what it is, Kyle says, thanks for the response. If I make it to Atlanta, for sure, man. For sure. It's been a long time since I've been down to Atlanta. Okay, guys. Let's do this. So we're going to draw for the giveaway around 10 Eastern time. Big shout out to Ashton Saltz. I don't think Ashton's in here right now, but Ashton sent me this King of Kentucky to review. It's a 2020. It's a short barrel, 65 bottles out of this barrel. that just like, it makes the hair stand up on my arm, you know, all over my body. It's just like, I get tingly. 65 bottles out of this barrel, 14 years old, 133.2 proof, floor 8, warehouse K. I mean, all the shit is on this bottle. Everything that you want is on this bottle right now. Mark Royland, I'm going to blend a Woodford batch proof. Do it, man. 60-40 with the 60 towards the higher proof one from this year. Do it. Okay. So Ashton sent me this, and I said, hey, I am going to take as little as possible. And I'm, you know, for the review, I'm going to shoot the review. And he said, no, enjoy a healthy pour. You know, there's more where that came from. He's got quite a few of these things. So I'm going to have a little tiny pour tonight on this stream with you guys. All I've done so far is smell this off the neck. And then my next pour of this is going to be for the review. But holy shit, King of Kentucky. Oh my God. Okay. So it's about a half-ounce pour. Got to coat the glass, man. Oh, ooh, I dripped a little bit. That's not great. Okay. I've got to send Ashton back a couple of cool samples to make up for this. Yeah, David, only 65 bottles. I know. And you know what's cool is the one that he sent isn't open. And so this has gotten air into it. And it's, you know, it could change over the years, but it's probably gotten enough air into this thing at this point to really kind of come into itself, if it even needs to. 14 years old, Brown Foreman. Oh my God. I'm going to leave this on the screen while I nose this. Oh my God. So I'm going to agree with you, Bogies and Barrels, that this is hands down on the nose, top 3, easy. If not number 1 immediately. Like I'm laughing because it's so good. Kimberly McKinney, thank you for the super chat. I like breakfast for dinner. Yes, and especially that seal box batch too. Absolutely. So let me get you down on the list here for the giveaway drawing when we do it in just a couple of minutes. But I've got to get my life together with this King of Kentucky right now. I am giddy. And Aiden coming in hot with the garlic parm fries of the fried chicken sandwich. Someone help Aiden out. All right. So, yeah, moment of silence, David. On the nose, I'm going to divide this into 3 things on the nose. I'm actually going to divide it into 3 bottles on the nose that might... They're still unicorn bottles, but this is what I'm getting, okay? On one end of things, the first thing that jumps out of the glass is crazy, crazy vanilla. Like heavy cream vanilla. And I equate that to really old Kentucky whiskey, Kentucky bourbon. What comes to mind for me is Evan Williams 23. Yes, it's really oaky. It's like licking a tree. I actually kind of like the profile of Evan Williams 23. But on that, you get this insane vanilla note because it spent so much time in the barrel. Okay, so that's number 1. Yeah. Number 2 is George T. Stagg because you get those dark, really dark fruits and red fruits like cherries, grapes, plums, figs, like all that kind of stuff, raspberry. And you get it not only in a candied way, but you also get it in a fresh way. And you also get the dark fruits in a dry way. All of that is in here, which kind of reminds me of a George T. Stagg. And then there's, I have not had a modern whiskey that has dusty funk. And this thing has this, it's not like a dusty. It's not like 1980s, but it's like edging towards that. So you get this crazy vanilla, this unbelievable spread of dry, candied, and fresh fruits. And then you get this kind of dustiness on it. And yeah, there's espresso, there's dark chocolate, there's barrel char. There's even like a street corn, like roasted corn note with paprika, like, and spices on it. But it's like you walked into an ice cream shop and you just get hit in the face with that vanilla. And that's the first thing you get out of the glass. And then you just start digging in, and every note that you could ever want is in this glass. Jesus, man. This is far and away the best nosing experience on a bourbon. And the other part of it is that not only are you getting all these sweet and intense notes, but it's at such a high proof, at like, what is it, 133.2, and it smells like there's no ethanol here. It's just rich out of the glass. Oh my God. All right. I'm going in first. I probably have 2 sips in this glass. All right. I'm going to go in for number 1. Holy shit. It's, so the nose can fool you. I tried to let it sit on my palate because it smelled so kind of easygoing. It's intense. Oh. Wow. It's not, we're not even at the finish yet. We're still in kind of the palate experience right now. Wow. So the overwhelming note in all of this is this heavy vanilla cream to me. It might be on equal footing with all of the fruit that are in here, but this freshness pervades the whole thing. And what develops the whiskey on the palate is the intense proof. It's gripping immediately. It's like, shut the fuck up. We're going to do this. That's what happens on the palate immediately. And then all of this spice just takes it on this journey. And what stood out to me, like, you get this rush of vanilla, you get these kind of red fruits, like this dessert compote kind of like raspberry and cherry type thing. And then as it gets to the mid palate, you get this darkness, espresso, coffee bean, and this just dry, dark fruit. And then from there, it like brightens back up, and it just keeps coming in waves as you get into the finish. That's crazy, man. So I'm sorry about going so crazy, nerding out about this and whatever. But I understand now what the hype is around this whiskey. And the most I've spent on a bottle is $850, which is a crazy amount of money to spend on a bottle of whiskey. These are like 1,600 to 1,900 in that range. That's I've never paid 4 figures for a bottle of whiskey. And if I considered doing that, it would be for this bottle. I haven't had a Dusty that's made me want to pay 4 figures. I love Dusty Old Granddad, but still, it's like, it's good, young, dusty whiskey. Whereas this is like kind of the epitome of whiskey making right now. Like, yeah, I love the flavors in Chateau de Labatt. I love my dusty Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Pirate bottle. I love my Evan Williams 23. But those things don't really hold a candle to this thing. Ashton, man, thank you for sending this. I mean, this is special, and you're right. So when I posted the other day and said something about like, oh, if I could drink something every day for the rest of my life, it would be Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend. And I had a picture of the Batch 58 on there. And I love that stuff. But it is like, it is finished whiskey, but it's amazing whiskey. This stuff wins, by a mile, which is crazy. It's crazy. Tight Cut says it would be amazing to put that next to William LaRue Weller. I've had a sample of William LaRue Weller, and I loved it, but I think this wins. To my memory, I think it was a 2020, either 19 or 20 William LaRue Weller, and it was really amazing, but it's not at this level. This is insane. So again, I made sure to pour a really small pour tonight, 2 sips out of this one, so that when I review this, I can have a 1 ounce pour and send this bottle back to Ashton. Wow. Thank you for sending this along. That's amazing. Seriously. Guys, last couple orders of business here. We've got a giveaway to do. So it's 10:04 right now. In the next 2 minutes, let's say 10:06, get your super chats in if you want to be entered into the giveaway for tonight's bottle of Sealbox Private Reserve Batch 2. I tasted this earlier in the stream. It's like breakfast in a glass. It's a toasted French oak and maple syrup barrel finish, and it's a blend of 2.5 and 10.5 year MGP whiskey. So to me, Batch 2 is much more round than Batch 1. Batch 1 had some sharp edges. Batch 2, dark fruit, maple syrup, espresso. It's like you're eating pancakes with syrup on it and drinking coffee in the morning. It's amazing stuff. If you like finished whiskey, if you're not, averse to maple flavored things, this is amazing. It's really, really good, really balanced, and I dig it. So that's the giveaway for tonight. Every $5 super chat, as this says, the banner down here, gets you in to win this. And so in the next 90 seconds, get those super chats in. I've been keeping track of giveaways all night. And then we're going to draw for that, and we're going to call it a night. And I'm going to have my last pour of this King of Kentucky, or last sip, I should say, of King of Kentucky. All right. Let's see. Catching up in the chat, guys. I know I just went on a freaking tangent, waxing poetic, as they say. Mark, would you please drink it? Shut up, Cameron. Drink the freaking whiskey. Wow. There's nothing like this out there. This is an easy choice. King of Kentucky. By a mile. And I actually, I have this much of my Mr. Sam sample left. Yeah, there's no comparison. None at all. King of Kentucky all day. All right, guys. So I think in terms of giveaway, I think we're done. We had 39 entries into the giveaway this evening. So that is awesome. let me, I'll share my screen with you all so you can see the way that I'm doing this. And then we'll draw for the giveaway this evening. Okay, let's make this happen. All right, share screen. So we're going to share this one. All right, so you guys can see this now. This is my giveaway. I just tracked all of this stuff. All right, so I'm going to put this in random.com. We're going to run this 7 times. Okay, so this is everybody here. We're going to run this randomizer 7 times. And whoever is at the top of the randomizer is going to win tonight's giveaway. All right. So let's go ahead and let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last spin. Top name is getting the Seal Box Private Reserve. Boom. It is Paul Graham. Paul Graham is the winner of tonight's Seal Box Private Reserve Batch 2. All right, so there we have it. I'll stop sharing my screen. So Paul threw in a $50 super chat earlier, an epic super chat. Thank you so much, Paul, for the support. And you've got a great bottle coming your way, man. It is really some fantastic stuff. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. It's been a full 2-hour stream. You know, and it was a little random. Like I was just grabbing bottles and just all these new pickups. But I thought it would be good to get on here without a subject, without like a big discussion point, and just to taste whiskey and hang out, because I mean, I needed it today. It's just been a crazy week. Played like shit this morning in my rehearsal, and I just was like, man, I was kind of dark about it. So I just need to have a little drink, and tomorrow morning in the dress rehearsal, I'm gonna play much better and redeem myself. But this has been a really fun night with all of you, and this King of Kentucky, just incredible. So I'm just I feel lucky to have you guys' support, to have you guys like Ashton sending crazy bottles like this my way, just to be nice and let me taste it and let me make a review. So thank you guys. I really appreciate all of you. Paul Graham at the last minute with another $30 super chat, man. Paul, you're crazy. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Yeah, you're gonna have this bottle coming your way and some awesome samples as well. Yeah, thanks, man. Cheers to you guys. I got a lot of things to clean up here, a lot of glasses to put in the dishwasher, but it's been a lot of fun. So thank you all. Here's the plan. Either tomorrow or Saturday, we're going to have a Sagamore Double Oak. No, sorry, not Double Oak Rye. 8-year rye review coming out on the channel. Peerless Double Oak should follow. And if my new camera gear, my Atomos Ninja 5 external monitor and recorder gets here in time, then I'm going to record my King of Kentucky review. I've been having some camera issues, and I need to solve that with a couple of new gear additions. So as soon as that gets here, I'm going to record this review, and that'll be out as soon as possible. Guys, if you haven't, please follow the Drums and Drams Instagram. I don't know if you're into Instagram. I'm doing pop-up live streams over there, separate from the YouTube channel. Just short tastings, kind of 10, 15 minutes at most. And working on my photography and getting content out there and trying to kind of diversify the Drums and Drams thing a little bit with Instagram. So check that out if you haven't already. Hit the like button, subscribe before you sign off this evening. Yeah. Cheers, guys. I'm gonna get off here, clean up, get to bed, and get to my rehearsal in the morning. If you want to support the channel further, we got the Patreon, $5, $10, or $15 per month. Starting in February, it's only going to be $5 or $10 per month. So it's even going to get cheaper. I'm going to be crunching down those 3 monthly subscriptions into 2. So the $10 tier is kind of where you're going to want to be starting in February. Starting in February. So if you want to support the channel, there are giveaways over on Patreon once per month, exclusive live streams. I do written reviews a couple times per week over there, and Patreon only videos. So check that out. I'm out of here. Cheers, and I'll see you soon here on Drums and Drams.